week, had his first child just before Christmas, comes back to Tampa, he takes a puck in the face, couple teeth, 21 stitches later, and you can see the remnants on his upper lip as he's gone to a liquid diet like his newborn apparently. And Jonathan Huberdeau, guy to watch here for Florida. He's got some ties into the Montreal team with Gerard Gallant as a coach over in Montreal, and he is nifty with his hands. Someone to watch here, last year's Rookie of the Year.
Michel Therrien starting his fourth line. Ryan White along with Brandon Press. Travis Mullen will start for the Canadiens. Try and set an early tempo against the top line of the Florida Panthers, a line that had a lot of possession time last night and a loss against the Detroit Red Wings. First loss in 3 against Detroit. It has Brad Boyes out there along with Alexander Barkov and Sean Bergenheim, who has 3 goals in his last 2 games, and there's Bergenheim deflecting it inside the Montreal line, and a quick change 30 seconds in for Florida. So a 2-1 win for the Panthers a couple of weeks ago in a stretch of wins for Scott Clemmensen, 4 in a row for Clemmensen. Bit of a surprise starter tonight for Florida. Scott Clemmensen, we expected Tim Thomas.
Yeah, we expected Tim Thomas yesterday against Detroit, and we certainly expected him today with Scott Clemmensen going back-to-back. He's healthy enough to dress, he's healthy enough to play, should be the assumption, and Tim Thomas right now is seemingly the backup here. Scott Clemmensen is taking the #1 reins with Thomas hurt. He's been nicked up a few times this year with some groin hip injuries, not to be surprised by that after sitting out a year.
Face off in the Montreal zone. Florida sends it to the side of Peter Budaj. A little flip into the front of the net, and it was gloved down there by Andrei Markov. That was an interesting centering pass, and now Kopecky, playing in his 500th NHL game, sends it to the corner. He's out there with Marcel Gottsch and Sean Matthias, who moves up onto this line, usually occupied by Thomas Fleischmann. Here's Kopecky trying a sharp angle from in behind the goal line. A little bank shot attempt against Peter Budaj, and Kopecky's got it again as the Panthers whirl in the Montreal zone, and finally the Canadiens are out, needing a change. They've been out over a minute 20, and finally Ryan White gets it deep and gets to the bench.
He didn't want to. He knew he had a clean 3-on-2, but all 3 of them were running out of gas. Probably the responsible play to dump it in by Ryan White.
Yeah, the right idea. Now Nick Bjugstad turns it over, and here come the Canadiens with fresh legs. It's Pacioretty on his off wing. A backhand wide of the net. Josh Georges on the far side. A return pass for Georges doesn't work, and it's played out to center, and now Georges will step right back in. Here come the Canadiens. A pass in front. Georges drove the net, and Clemmensen kicked it away. David Desharnais at center ice will slow things down. A good burst there for Montreal as PK Subban starts the breakout. Away goes Desharnais. A left wing pass, and Pacioretty trying to cut in against Mike Weaver, but won't allow that. Along the boards, it's Huberdeau, seeing his first action against the Canadiens this year. Did not play with a bruised foot in the meeting 2 weeks ago back near his hometown of St. Jerome. Weaver dishes it off. Dmitry Kulikov will roll it down the ice. That's past Rafael Diaz, and from Kulikov's side of center, that's an icing call against Florida.
You mentioned it was Thomas Kopecky's 500th game. Well, he wanted to maybe create something memorable here. A little flipper over top of the net for Peter Budaj, and Andrei Markov has to be careful not to dump it in his own net. And then later that same shift, trying to bank one in, catches the outside of the post there as Peter Budaj was hugging it. And Thomas Kopecky trying some interesting things here early on in the first period.
Now Plekanec on the ice up against Barkov. You mentioned that size difference on the face-offs. Here comes Bergenheim roaring in on his wrong wing, and Bouillon won't let him by and takes him down. Puck intercepted by Barkov, scoops it back into the corner. Centering pass is intercepted, and away goes Plekanec. Had the goal last night, has goals in his last 2 games. He'll peel off, and there's René Bourque. Had a couple of posts last night. Canadiens with 19 scoring chances in the game. Markov with a shot wide. Where is the rebound? Up to the side of the net, and they're ruling a high stick. Touch the puck, and play is halted. Our game plan brought to you by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the NHL.
Yeah, for the Montreal Canadiens, all about taking advantage of their best skills. That's quick transition create some turnovers in the neutral zone. We've seen that already, and attack quickly. And for the Florida Panthers, they want to try to keep things 5-on-5. They have a more efficient offense 5-on-5 than Montreal does. And when you have the least worst penalty kill, second worst power play, your best bet is to keep things even up.
We're talking about the 5-on-5 offense of the Canadiens. Compare it with Florida, the lowest scoring team in the league. They have 69 5-on-5 goals. The Canadiens have only 56.
I saw that stat, and it was a surprising one. You think Florida would certainly struggle to score, and they have. But Montreal 5-on-5 that much worse.
Fourth line for the Panthers is out. There's Brian Campbell sending it across. Here's the shot, and Budaj with his first save.
See some offense coming in from the defense for Florida. Their number one pairing, Tom Gilbert and Brian Campbell. And Brian Campbell maybe lost in the shuffle a little bit down here in Florida, but when you look at Canadian defenders, he has more ice time than anybody else in the NHL. And you expect to see Weber's name up there, but Brian Campbell continues to get it done. Plays big time minutes. Only -2 on the year on the Florida team. Says he's playing pretty well.
7 times over 30 minutes, including last night in the 4-3 loss against the Red Wings. 30 minutes and 32 seconds for Brian Campbell. Now, he'd be a long shot, but you never hear his name in reference to the Canadian Olympic team, and
well,
maybe you get lost in Florida.
And all the talk about the need for left-handed shooters, Brian Campbell, he's won before, Stanley Cup in Chicago, and I think it is a function of the fact that he plays down in Florida, and the Panthers haven't had much success with him here.
From the face-off, a shot steered away by Budaj. Moving up is Kulikov. Canadians get control, and it's Georges. Off Gallagher to the line, and it does come out. Kopecky feeds it across. There's Gotch. Looking for Kulikov. Loose left side, rolling puck, and it ends up going about 10 feet wide. It'll be kept in by Kopecky, who looks like he's got some jump tonight in a milestone game, and traffic in front of the net or bench. Too many men would appear to be the call against Florida.
It's tight in that whoever was leaving the ice was right beside the bench. And Peter Horachek, coach of the Florida Panthers, disagrees. But Montreal go to the power play early. We talked about the need to keep things 5-on-5 for Florida. That's not going to get it done as Jonathan Huberdeau heads on over to serve the penalty. Another one of those ones that you want to be disciplined around the bench. And if you're the guy stepping out on the bench, if you know it's close and you have support in behind you and you're Thomas Kopecky, you just got to let it go through your feet. Don't play the puck. Give your team a chance to get off the ice.
Plekanec wins the face-off. Florida, the 30th ranked penalty kill, gave up 2 last night. Here's Plekanec across Gionta and Clemenson with the stop in behind the net. Mike Weaver battling for it up against Plekanec. Plekanec hits the deck, but Subban comes away with the puck. Here's Markov, and he drives it wide. And now the penalty looks like it's over. It's going to be an interference call, and Rennie Bourque will get the gate. And he wasn't sure he was the guy.
Everyone coming off the boards trying to get back to the front of the net. As PK Subban was trying to tee up Andrei Markov, and Rennie Bourque got tangled up with Brian Campbell. Campbell goes down, and that ends a very abbreviated 22-second power play for the Montreal Canadiens. There's just some battles going along the wall. Good ones for Montreal to win possession, and then here comes Campbell. A little shove in the back, and Campbell goes down pretty easily for a skater as good as he is. And it's 4-on-4 hockey.
Well, we'll see how the 4-on-4 offense is for Montreal. Brad Boyes gets taken down. PK Subban strong on the puck. And Lars Eller, one of the heroes last night in Tampa with the deciding goal in the shootout, is on the ice for the Canadiens along with Galchenyuk. Alex Galchenyuk, the lone goal against Florida 2 weeks ago, a power play marker, and now Subban will reorganize in behind the Montreal net. Up ahead on the right side, too far for Galchenyuk. Into the skeets it goes of Tom Gilbert, the former Edmonton Oiler, and now Bergenheim sends away Campbell. He'll lead the rush. Teammates changing in behind him. He curled inside the line, and it's knocked away by Galchenyuk. There's Campbell back to the attack. Drew Shore drives to the net, can't reach it. Moving up is Bergenheim. Along the boards with Shore. Shore tries the shot, and that's off a stick and up onto the netting.
Peter Budaj gets a start for Montreal today. That shouldn't be a surprise, as Carey Price has yet to start back-to-back games on consecutive days, and Peter Budaj gets a lot of tough assignments. Second half of back-to-backs, tough travel, road games, but him and Carey Price have made a tremendous tandem in net this year. Goals against, third in the league, 2.1 collectively, and Peter Budaj's numbers are actually better than Carey Price's.
And Budaj 1.80 goals against average on the road. Puck hits center, and it'll be stolen by Pacioretty with Desharnais. Pacioretty snaps the shot high and wide, and it ricochets to the blue line, and now here comes a break for the Florida Panthers. It'll be Kulikov, and Kulikov scores! Fleischmann to Kulikov on the 2-on-1, and the Panthers strike first.
Kulikov joining the rush after Max Pacioretty misses the net and turns a 2-on-2 and a 3-on-2, and Fleischmann picks him up late here. Didn't know he had him yet, but then finds him coming in, puts it right on the tape, and a nice one-timer by Kulikov to the open side of the net. Good read by Fleischmann there. Didn't see him initially because he was trying to set up a move to take it to the net, and you see his eyes spot him right there, right where he needs it. And Thomas Fleischmann, one of the better offensive players Florida has to offer, sets up their first goal.
Kulikov second, his first in 29 games. Thomas Fleischmann, the point leader for Florida with 20. That's the lowest number of points for a team leader in the NHL. Another reflection of a low-scoring team, but they do score first here tonight and have a 1-0 lead on the Canadiens at the 6:10 mark. And now they'll briefly have a power play, 10 seconds remaining in the penalty to Bourque, as that goal was scored 4-on-4, and Campbell will lead them back in. Bergenheim off the left side, testing Budaj, who will hold on. So Dmitry Kulikov with the icebreaker from Thomas Fleischmann. Panthers strike first. Here.
Max Pacioretty has the puck on a 2-on-1, trying to score a goal. You want to try to find a corner, but the risk you run when you miss the net right here, all of a sudden Desharnais driving the net, Pacioretty behind the net, and the 2-on-2 becomes a 3-on-2, ending up with Kulikov's goal. You have to hit the net there, or else you put your teammates in a bad spot, as Pacioretty did on that goal. Even
more so, four skaters aside, right?
Yeah, that many fewer guys there to support you in behind.
Fourth line out for Florida. They come to the attack. Barch, Hayes, and Drew Shore, who was just called up. Scott Gomez was in the lineup last night, but the former Canadian is sitting once again tonight, the 11th time in the last 12 games he has not played for the Florida Panthers, and that shot sailing high up onto the netting.
Chris, you look around the stadium here at the BB&T Center, and a lot of fans in the building. Not always the case, and that's because there has been an influx of Montreal fans, as it is a pro-Canadian vibe in the building, as the Canadians got the bigger cheer when they stepped out on the ice, and the bigger boos when their team gets a penalty. And it's one of those games where the Panthers in the locker room are saying, okay, boys, let's get one early, take the crowd out of it here at home.
Well, that's what they did. It'll be interesting to hear how loud it gets when the Canadians are able to score in this game. But this traditional big crowd for the Panthers when Montreal comes to town. Actually had a huge crowd in here for Detroit last night. Over 19,000, expecting this would be the biggest crowd of the season. They had 19,000 for the season opener against Pittsburgh as well.
It's one of the luxuries about playing for Montreal. Everywhere you go, whether it's Florida, Tampa, anywhere, they're well supported, and you don't feel the traditional road game where your fans are outnumbered.
Good forecheck by Eller, causing a disturbance in the Florida zone, but now the Panthers are away. Bouillon sends it out to center. Kopetsky can't get loose there, and Galchenyuk will wind up and head north. He'll send it in and trigger a change, and Gallagher off the bench, flying in to be the first man on the forecheck. And he'll take it away from Campbell, picking the pocket of the veteran defenseman who recovers, gets it to center, and now it's Fleischmann to the attack, and he can't get by Emelin. Following up is Huberdeau. He goes down, but Fleischmann's got it behind the net. Can't center against Markov, and it's flipped ahead, and the Canadians will bust out. Here's Pacioretty, rink wide, Desharnais back in front, and Gallagher ended up on top of Clemenson as the Panthers clear it out. Just 2 shots so far for Montreal as the puck is flipped in wide of the net. Back to get it, Dylan Olsen neatly ahead, and away goes the youngster Barkov. A couple of rookie centers in the number 1 and 2 slots, and it's Barkov flipping it over the net. Alexander Barkov and Nick Bjugstad, the top 2 centers, both rookies for Florida, and both guys we might hear from for a long time. Here's Plekanec with the puck in the Florida zone. A shot by Subban, and that one might have been tipped over the net by Gionta. Gionta in after it. Bourque is jostled in the corner as they jam away, and it's Petrovic able to send it out of that maze of players. Now Subban trying to hold his own. Canadian fans get loud, but Bergenheim starts back. And a great pass ahead. Here comes Boyes in, and he shot it wide. Brad Boyes had a number of chances last night, took 10 shots toward the net, and had a couple of golden opportunities in the final minute to tie the game. And what a chance there for Brad Boyes, a former 43-goal scorer.
I played with him in St. Louis when he had his 43, and confidence low right now, but he keeps missing the net on these great opportunities he's getting.
Bouillon plays it back, and Diaz looks ahead. Past the midway mark of this first period. Kulikov in his own zone. Ryan White's got him lined up. It's sent to the line. Bouillon across. Diaz flipping it. Clemenson gets a piece of that. Moen tried to chop it in front. White in a battle, and now Kulikov's on it. There's Travis Moen in, crashing and causing another turnover. Shore helping his defenseman out. Florida still in some disarray. Canadians up with a thrust shot. And that didn't miss by much. Mike Weaver off the boards, and this will get past Bouillon and will ricochet right on Peter Budaj, flipping it away from the oncoming Jimmy Hayes. Back comes Bouillon, left side. It's Daniel Briere trying to center. Puck chopped at with a high stick by Brian Campbell, still loose up into the air. And the Canadians looking for it as Gotch battles for it. And finally spun out by Matthias, the former Belleville Bull, gets it to center. Back in Galchenyuk. Galchenyuk nearly split the D. He'll get it to Briere and back into the skates of Galchenyuk, centering off the side of the net in front. And the Panthers get it out with Kopecky. A left wing feed, and Matthias trying to cut in, and Budaj makes the stop. And the puck flipped away from the front of the net and out to center. Here's big Nick Bjugstad, Minnesota product. Uncle Scott, a former Minnesota North Star. And that puck is off a player into the bench area. 8:17 left in the first, with the Panthers up 1-0. The NHL on TSN is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Dmitry Kulikov, the goal scorer. 1-0 Florida. Just over 8 minutes remaining here in the first period. Brendan Gallagher down the right wing. There's Kulikov on the scene for the Panthers. Bjugstad fanned on it, a centering pass, and Gallagher dives to get it back to PK Subban, deflected in front of the net. And Bjugstad there to skate it away. Can't get it out though. Again, Gallagher. Good checking for the Canadians. Kulikov and Gallagher battle again. Played to the near side, and Panthers are able to scoop it out to center. Here comes big Bjugstad with Fleischmann rolling it to the side of the Montreal net. And Budaj up for Pacioretty. Max Pacioretty has been hot of late. 13 goals in his last 18 games. Just 4 of his 15 on the season, though, have come away from the Bell Center. Budaj out to play the puck again. He's got Bergenheim on one side and Boys there to glove it down from the other. And a chance for Barkov, and that one is off a stick and up onto the netting.
And we talked about some of the size down the middle for Florida, and Nick Bjugstad certainly one of those, and showing his size. Although Desharnais shows the skill, he loses the face-off, but he certainly gets bowled over by Bjugstad. And you can see what that added foot on top of David Desharnais that Bjugstad has.
Had a goal against the Canadiens. He had a wow goal last night in the loss against Detroit. And he is starting to score with regularity. 4 in his last 8, 6 in his last 14.
And we like seeing that against Detroit. Yesterday was, yeah, he's 6'4", 6'5", but he had that breakaway speed to take the puck from the blue line all the way in on Gustafsson and beat him on a breakaway. And Florida's now looking. We got Barkov. He's about 6'4". You got Bjugstad, 6'5". 2 cornerstone centermen, that size and skill combined, and that bodes well for them heading in the future.
Well, obviously still a work in progress here, but
keyword future.
Yes, they're excited about those two. Also excited with the progress that Erik Gudbranson had been making, but he is out of the lineup, injured with a broken orbital bone. Fleischmann in to take this draw. The 14s will duel Plekanec and Fleischmann. And from the face-off, Canadiens will control. Bouillon up, Bourque along the boards, and Bjugstad will regroup it out at center. Huberdeau and Campbell. Campbell's pass intercepted by Plekanec. Here's Gionta, but the play offside as the puck goes into the net well after the whistle.
They call it high stick by Gionta. And crowd doesn't like it.
Yes, the Bell Center crowd. I mean the
yeah, Michel Therrien's on the bench. He doesn't like it. And it was Tony Saracolo who made the call at the blue line. And you see here, kind of flips it up, and where does Brian Gionta even get that one, or is it Brian Campbell who actually knocks it down?
So Gionta hot. No question the whistle blew even before the pass was
and
made
you know
across.
But that kind of reaction that you just saw to Gionta, that's not a guy trying to get a call. You know, you're not going to slam the door in hopes that you're going to confuse him. If you got the high stick, you got it. And I think we have to see that again. That might have been Brian Campbell knocking that down.
Ryan White crashing in, looking for a puck as the fourth line does some grind work along the boards. Travis Moen now in to try and work it free. It's batted back in, and they're ruling Florida played that first after the glove by Yemelin. Up ahead it goes, and Chris Barch is stopped in his tracks at center by Markov. Right back in, pressed first man on it. Former London Knight is hit there by Dylan Olsen. Puck loose for the young defenseman Petrovic, who got called up with the injury to Gudbranson. Now Drew Shore's got it. The pass for Petrovic, who wired it right on. Loose in front of the net. Ryan White comes up with it, and he'll flip it out of harm's way. Big Alex Petrovic, an Edmonton native, number 36 pick in the 2010 draft. Subban leaves it in the corner for his partner Georges, and back to the far side for PK Subban. Canadiens' blue line has been relatively quiet offensively of late. Just 12 points for the entire defense corps for Montreal in the month of December. Tom Gilbert back in his own zone. There's Campbell around. It'll be kept in by Subban. In deep, Briere leaned on by Gilbert. And Kopetsky has it. He gets tangled up. And now the Canadiens win a board battle. Galchenyuk back to the point, and the shot goes wide. Florida flips it ahead. Matthias can't control. And Subban waiting as teammates are starting to change. Weaves at center, a right wing pass, and Pacioretty taken down by Campbell. Desharnais on the forecheck. Here's Desharnais up with the puck. David Desharnais, he'll reverse it back to Gallagher, into the corner for Pacioretty. That's Bouillon's moved up. Desharnais backs him up. Francis Bouillon from the corner. Chip past Pacioretty, and the Florida Panthers just ice the puck. We'll get a face-off back in the Florida zone with some tired Panthers on the ice.
Try to take one more look at this rush play by Brian Gionta. Ends up with a puck in the net, and you see a stick up in the air, and right there, does it touch it? He's suggesting it doesn't. It's hard to say. Tony Saracolo right there on the spot, and linesmen don't miss that very often, but it doesn't look like it changed direction to me. It eventually resulted in Rennie Bourque picking one out of the air and putting it in the back of the net.
Under 4 minutes left here in the first period. Shot 7-6 in favor of Florida. And the one goal scored by Dmitry Kulikov. There's Barkov in his own zone. The big Finn leaned on. Markov dueling, a veteran against the youngster. And out for Huberdeau. Jonathan Huberdeau onto the right side, the Calder Trophy winner. Playing on a line with a rookie in Bjugstad. Plekanec off the glass and out to center. Olsen ahead, Bjugstad dropping it off for Fleischmann. He pushes it ahead, here's Huberdeau in. Jonathan Huberdeau centers it right in front, and it's shot wide. Petrovic with his second chance of the period. Young defenseman who does not have an NHL point. Up on the rush, and what a chance he had there. Back in the Florida zone, Canadians are up with it. And now Petrovic clears it away to Dylan Olsen. Former Camrose Kodiak up ahead. That skipped on Bjugstad and slides into Canadians ice. PK Subban spun around as he sent the puck out to center, and now Campbell will get control. Brian Campbell turned back as Prost is watching him. Quickly moved to the line. Off Jimmy Hayes, and Budaj out to play it, and fired around once again. Hayes there along the boards. Drew Shore picks it up. It'll come across to the near side for Campbell. And now a shot wide of the net by Hayes. Former Toronto draft choice acquired from Chicago. And out to center, and another former Blackhawk, Campbell, will retreat. And Campbell in no rush, and Canadians decide they'll start to change as both Ryan White and Prost head to the bench. Now a pass for Mathias doesn't work, and this is going to be an icing call, and it looks like Florida a little puzzled by that forecheck of the Canadians.
Well, I think they don't like the icing call. The no touch. Diaz beat Mathias to the hash marks, although Mathias would have beat Diaz to the puck. And the referees make the correct call for the icing, but you'll notice about Brian Campbell, he will not be rushed, he will not be forced to make a decision. He'll keep circling back as many times as he wants until he sees what he needs.
From the face-off, a quick shot, and Clemenson gets a piece of that. Chance for Brendan Gallagher right off the draw. Mentioned the Canadians with just 23 goals for in the last 12 games. Offense been tough to generate. Although again, Michel Therrien said 19 chances last night. Happy with the opportunities generated.
We thought they had a chance about 2-1 against Tampa last night. And coaches will always take that ratio. And counted the 3-4 posts that they hit as opportunities missed that could have made that game a little more lopsided than it was.
Not sure if Peter Horacek was a little more liberal or whether Florida was that good last night, but he felt they created 29 chances. Boy, that's high. You keep Mike Babcock up. Here's a break the other way, and just off the bench, Dylan Olsen, a little late on the change as Plekanec plays it back to the point. Nobody there. And a quick turn for Bergenheim. Sean Bergenheim for Barkov and back. Bergenheim loads, and that one blocked by Subban. PK got a skeet on that shot, and now has the puck. Tries to flip it out, sprawls, it's still in. Bergenheim across, and Boys missed on the tip as he was backdoor. on the shot by Barkov. After it again, up against Markov. Brian Campbell holds the zone. It'll be fed back to Olsen. Dylan Olsen a shot, and Budaj's got that. And he'll hold on with 2.5 seconds remaining here in the opening period.
Some good opportunities here for Florida, as Montreal turning pucks over late in the period. PK Subban trying to flip one out, misses it. And that line that had so many looks last night, Boys, Bergenheim, and Barkov. I don't want to call them the killer bees, that'd be too obvious, but several good chances again.
You leave the obvious stuff to the play-by-play guy. From the draw, puck in the corner, and the first period is done. The shot's 8-7 in favor of Florida, and they have the lone goal off the stick of Dmitry Kulikov. 1-0 as we send it back to Rod Smith and our panel. Well, Rod, a defenseman scores the goal, and for Florida, the defense rather active in an offensive way in that opening period, Mike.
And I'm sure that's something that the Montreal coach are going to make their forwards very well aware of. You have to be conscious when you're skating back up the ice that the Florida Panther defenders are coming. You can't get beat up the ice on a foot race, because Panthers are doing a good job of delaying and finding the late guy just like that as Kulikov scores. But that wasn't the only time. Some of Florida's best chances come off the stick of their defenseman. Again, Petrovic jumping up, beating his back checker up the ice for a good opportunity, and you have to take it all the way back to your own net, not just to the blue line, because again, there's Petrovic coming right down the slot because he keeps beating his guys up the ice, and that might be the guy that's tough to catch out of all of them, Brian Campbell, and he leads the charge of an offensive-minded group of defensemen who generated half the shots for Florida in that first period.
It's interesting because if you take the points of Subban and Markov on the year, more points for those two than the entire defense corps of Florida suited up for this game tonight, but that hasn't been the case of late in the month of December. The Panthers' blue line much more active, and we saw evidence of it.
Yeah, no good Branson either in the lineup tonight. He puts up some points for Florida. And of course, Subban, Markov, lots on the power play, of which Florida gets nada.
So we start the second. Here's Bergenheim. Looked like he had a step, but Subban recovers nicely to make the defensive play. PK Subban with 4 blocked shots in the opening period. Here comes Barkov, and a glove stopped by Budaj on a good rush by the youngster, the young Finn, Alexander Barkov.
Nice save by Peter Budaj here early in the second period. Touch pass back to Barkov. Subban has a tough time creating the great gaps, got to back up, and that gives Barkov a chance to let the wrister go just inside the post, but Peter Budaj makes the save.
Barkov tied for 9th in rookie scoring, but just 8 points back of the leader, who is now on the injury list, Thomas Hertl.
That Rookie of the Year race is right up for grabs, with Hertl going to miss better part of a month. The scoring race will be tight when he gets back.
And a log jam from 1 to 10. Puck flipped back in by Gotch. Here's Kopecky with it. His shot hit a leg. Gotch in the corner. Brian Gionta is there. Gotch recorded his 100th career assist last night. Kopecky's pass is off a stick and ricochets down the ice. Mike Weaver retreating. Here's Gotch sending it across, and the goal scorer Kulikov moves it ahead. Kopecky at center. That bounces off Big Sean Matthias. In on the forecheck against Yemelin, and Markov will take over. Up the boards, it reaches Gionta. Flips it into the middle, and now it's Plaquette over the line with Bourque. He'll wind and fire in a pad stopped by Clemenson. Scott Clemenson with 4 consecutive wins, and now coming off 2 straight losses in which his goals or his save percentage is .851. So after a hot streak, Clemenson the last couple of games against Winnipeg and Tampa not been as effective. Or check that, Tampa and Detroit, he got the Winnipeg game off. Panthers trying to shake a 3-game losing streak after winning 5 in a row. Briere centers, and that's picked off. And back the other way goes Florida. Huberdeau chasing down Subban, who sends it ahead, and the Canadians out at center. Eller into the middle, and now it's Briere after it. Galchenyuk along the boards. Alex Galchenyuk, good work there, trying to center, unable to get it in front. Campbell is spilled. Eller's on it. He had a couple of shots in the first period. Lars Eller working along the boards, and now playing it back to the point. Rafael Diaz off a skate. And a quick turn here for Huberdeau. Up ahead for Fleischmann. He'll dump it in, and the Panthers will change. Diaz ahead. Eller on the right side. And the Canadians will complete their change as Moen in on the forecheck. Gets a hit on. Bouillon at the point. Sends it across. Diaz, it deflects in front. And here's a chance. Scores! Brendan Prost has the goal, and the Canadians draw even.
Nice job by the fourth line of the Canadians doing what fourth lines are supposed to do, getting it in deep and then getting physical, creating turnovers, and get to the front of the net. And Brandon Prost just outworks Kulikov here, who gets caught fishing for a puck. When Prost has it on his stick, he actually has Ryan White open backdoor right here if he wants to slide it to him for an open net. Elects to shoot it and gets it underneath the blocker of Scott Clemmensen. But nice job here, engaging the body by Prost, but keeping his stick free, kicking out the puck and sweeping it under Clemmensen.
Fourth of the year for Prost, his first point and goal in 9 games. 2:56 of the second period. Canadians draw even. That fourth line that started the game for the Canadians is back out there and looking for more. Here's Prost again with a quick shot that sails high. Clemmensen seemed fooled by that, dropped his stick and had to recover, and back the other way comes Jimmy Hayes. Hayes will flip it through, deflected by Shore, rebound in front, and Prost got there to clear. Chris Bart sends it to the point. Panthers looking for a quick response. Tom Gilbert, fourth line for Florida now to the attack. Campbell walks the line, tracked there by Moen, a shot, and that's turned away. It'll be spun back to the point again by Barch to Campbell, wheeling in. And now Gilbert winds, and that is off Moen. Takes a bite out of his ankle, and he'll slowly make his way to the bench, but an icing call. And
they're going to have to think about a timeout here because Prost and Moen are gassed. As they're still on the ice from that goal, and you see Brandon Prost on that goal. Gets the point. See how he gets inside the check of Kulikov, right up against the body where Kulikov has no leverage, and that allows him to spin, get the shot off, and score the goal.
Travis Moen allowed to go to the bench because
I don't like. They say his skate broke, or did the skate protect a little plastic shield strap broke, but you can pop off pretty quickly if you want to. Might have been some handiwork by the equipment guys in Montreal.
Either that or just injury related allows you to make the one change.
Except he's sitting on the bench, not leaving anywhere.
There's Bergenheim centering it in front of the net. Barkov a chance, and that looked like it went off White. So the Canadians still have some tired troops out there, and top line of Barkov, Boys, and Bergenheim trying to grind them down and regain the lead. Gilbert holds the zone. There's Big Barkov. He's tacked in the corner. It'll come to the line, but kept in by Gilbert. Across for Campbell, over skates it, and Prost will get it out to center. There's Pacioretty, and buys a little time for part of the change to take place. Campbell back in, shot, and Budaj to stop. It's in on the rebound, and the Panthers do get it back. Peter Budaj drops it in the blue paint, and it rolls just beyond the red line and in.
Barkov pokes that one home as Montreal never could get their line change in. You see Prost and White trying to go off, quick transition, and it's a 3-on-2 all of a sudden, almost 4-on-3. And Campbell lets the wrister go over top of Budaj, and then the quick stick from Barkov pokes it in the empty net, but the same tired defenseman and a busted change gives a quick 4-on-3 for the Panthers that they capitalize on to pick the lead back.
So it is Barkov with his 7th of the year, the number 2 pick in the 2013 draft. One that at the time took a lot of people by surprise, but not as much now. And Florida gets it back less than 2 minutes after the Canadians had equalized on the goal by Prust. Golikov bouncing it in front of the net. It is loose there. Battling for it, Gotch. Up with it, Kopetsky. Back to the point, the shot, and that one knocked down in front. And that's PK again. Got in the way, and boy, he's going to have some bruises now as he is going to be asked to get off.
He wants to get off the ice right here. He says he's got something wrong with his skate.
Second time in this period the Canadian has asked for, and apparently not granted permission this time to get off.
He's trying to politic his way onto the bench there, saying there's something wrong with his skates, but give it a quick test, everything okay, and back he goes, but he's still about 10 seconds.
Face-off won by Florida, comes in front. And now back to Mike Weaver. His shot's right on. Rebound in front. Bjugstad couldn't come up with it. And Subban is able to clear it. Subban to the bench. Pacioretty steals the puck, tries to center, and Gionta knocked down in front. Nick Bjugstad turns. Sends it in and will give chase. He's taken out by Diaz. Puck come loose and a quick shot by Fleischmann. Rebound. Huberdeau can't find it. Campbell shot it wide. Couple of chances there for Florida. Gets past Huberdeau and now Campbell back in again against Gionta. Florida just looks like they're a step quicker in this second period.
Montreal looking tired. They're getting caught out in long shifts. When you're tired, back-to-backs roll them over that much quicker, but too much time in the defensive zone hasn't let Montreal do it.
Now an offside called at the Florida line. Alexander Barkov has scored the tying goal on that rebound that Budaj couldn't control. 2-1 Florida here in period 2. Well, a matchup of the former junior coach and his star player with the St. John Sea Dogs, Gerard Gallant and Jonathan Huberdeau. We didn't see this matchup the first time they met. Huberdeau with a bruised foot, missed a couple of games on their Canadian trip, but talked to Gerard before the game about how terrific a junior player he was, and said one of the keys for Huberdeau is to get stronger, but nothing wrong with his competitiveness, and he is going to be a star in this league.
He's got some magical hands right now and finally getting some support in here with some of the other young stars they have on the rise.
Here's a centering pass for Bergenheim. Brad Boyes reaches for it, and Canadians can't get it out. Borg fighting for it. There's Barkov reaching in. He gets knocked down by Bouillon. Rafael Diaz will send it around the boards, and Tom Gilbert is there to hold the zone once again. Canadians have been hemmed for much of the second period. A stretch pass for Plekanec, and that was cut off by Campbell. Brian Campbell played just under 10 minutes in the opening period. Here's Boyes going to the net and tipping it wide. On a pass from Barkov once again. It's up on the back of the net, and play is stopped.
That's a nice look from Barkov there, trying to find Boyes on the back door. That stretch pass knocked down, quick transition. He knows he got to float it here just soft enough to let Boyes get away from the back check of Gionta, and he puts it right there. Great look at it right here. Just bounces right onto the tape, and Boyes can't quite chip it up and over Budaj. You get a sense of the vision there of Barkov.
Goal scoring plays in the period. Prust from Diaz and Bouillon for the Canadians at 2:56. Barkov from Campbell and Gilbert at 4:51 of the second. 2-1 Panthers. Puck sent in deep again. Drew Shore battles for it. Denver product. Worked off the puck, and now Eller trying to turn away from the forechecking of Jimmy Hayes. It'll be Markov around. And out at center, Big Petrovic back in his own zone. Dylan Olsen ahead, and that will roll all the way down on Budaj. Shots 14-10, favoring Florida here in the second period. Up around past the ear of Galchenyuk and to the Florida line. Here comes Mathias sending it in. Kopetsky goes after it. Mathias crashing in on the forecheck as they surround Georges, and Kopetsky's on it. He'll play it back behind the net for Big Sean Matthias. Eller in to help Georges out, and the Canadians do work forward. Here's Lars Eller to the attack over the line. Moen was able to stay on side, and now Travis Moen at the side of the net centered, and Kulikov was there. Back comes Marcel Gotch, the former Nashville Predator, bouncing it in. Rafael Diaz got there first, but Matthias nearly stole it. It'll come back to Gilbert. In deep for Big Matthias. Acquired by Florida for Todd Bertuzzi, a former Detroit Red Wing draft choice. Matthias now along the boards, and the Canadians get it out.
Canadians are getting that bad rotation where they play in their end for 30 seconds. When they finally clear it, they're too tired to pursue it, are forced to change and let Florida come right back at them.
Here goes Bjugstad again. Got rid of it centered. Nobody there for Florida. And Bouillon backtracks in his own zone, playing in his third consecutive game. Coach Michel Therrien lauding his work since getting back in the lineup. Up ahead off Gallagher, and this will slide the length of the ice. It's an icing call against Montreal. Well, Team Canada's road to gold continues on TSN tomorrow as they take on Slovakia. Third game of the round robin. All gets underway at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on TSN and TSN Radio, coming off that shootout loss against the Czech Republic.
What would the World Juniors be without some questions about the goaltenders? Looks like Zach Ficalli is going to get his start.
Much to the delight of the Montreal fans. Pass by Barkov, failed to click. It'll come back to the point. Here's Andrei Markov, and he missed on the stick side. Ricochets to Yemelin, and he gives it away, and Barkov's out there. Here's Barkov down the left flank, rigged wide. Brad Boyes, a quick shot wide. Bergenheim fanned on it, and Gallagher gets it back. Brendan Gallagher in with Desharnais, can't slide it through. Great defensive play. Kulikov will counter for Florida. He's got Barkov on this near side. Kulikov into the middle, and Boyes drifts that shot off target. Your old teammate's getting a lot of looks, but hasn't been able to find the target tonight.
He's going to wear that stick out. He keeps getting so many shots.
Again, he took 10 shots in the game against Detroit.
He's got to have 5 at least tonight already.
Wow.
And maybe only 1 has hit the net. And he's getting them in good place, not wasting them from outside the blue line. He's getting good looks.
That a guy in a slump trying to be too fine. Here's Campbell. He winds, and Gallagher in the shooting lane to block that. Canadians, of course, leading the league in block shots. Here's Kopecky sending it through. Campbell's hopped up again. Erased there, and a good hit by Yemelin. Brian Gionta off the boards, held in by Kopecky, and now Gionta starts away. Here's Gionta trying to slide through, and he can't get by Olsen. Now centers. Plekanec in behind the net. Bourque goes to the front, and Plekanec shot it wide. Josh Georges left point. Knocked down by Kopecky. High over the net, then Plekanec has room in the far corner. He'll center across. Gionta can't get a stick on it. And Big Kopecky will move it out. Deflected down the ice by Matthias. Under 8.5 left, second period. Teams have traded second period goals. And Florida continues to lead by 1. Bjugstad in after it. Up along the boards, Weaver trying to hold it in against Bourque. Briere there in support, trying to dig it out. Little moshing along the boards. And finally from the scrum it comes out. Leishman looks for it, and Huberdeau unable to hold it in. Mike Weaver. Errant pass, and that's going to slide for icing. And a face-off back in the Florida zone.
PK Subban, another dynamic offensive year for him, leading his team in scoring. And of course his contract up after this year, and a lot of discussion about what kind of deal it will take to get him signed. If they want to go max term length for 8 years, it's going to be a lot of money, or does PK Subban want to go to a shorter term and buy himself some flexibility as that salary cap continues to go up and up? But either way, as the team's leading scorer, the quarterback of the all-important power play.
On pace for 56 points on the year. Another board battle. Eller moves in and takes over. Good strong move by Eller. Swung it back to the side of the net. And Florida now gets hemmed in. Briere got out of the way of a hit and able to hold it in briefly, but now Weaver moves it up. Jimmy Hayes on the right flank, and a solid play there by Bouillon. Dylan Olsen on the far side moves up. Boy, Peter Horacek's got his blue liners active in this game. Hayes will cycle it down low. Reaching in and grabbing it, Drew Shore. And now intercepted, and away goes Galchenyuk. And Eller to the attack. Canadians off the bench. It was Prust hopping over, trying to make it a 3-on-2, but back the other way it's Bergenheim. And he gets slowed up and stopped in his tracks by Yemelin. There's Barkov, bumped by Moen. Yemelin lost the puck to Bergenheim, and then forces Bergenheim off it. Barkov moves in. He'll send it back to the point. Campbell shot, looking for the tip, and they got it, and a good save there by Budaj on the redirect. Brian Campbell again takes the pass on this near side as he swaps sides, tries a back pass. Prust without a stick, and able to help get it out with the assistance of Travis Moen. Brian Campbell back in. Here comes Boys, another look, and he shot it wide again. Not a recording. Brad Boys, we mentioned, a 43-goal scorer, scored 33 in St. Louis, 3 times over 25, but stuck on 9. He hasn't been able to get into double digits here with a lot of chances. There's one and a goal, and Barkov has the tip.
Tired team chasing the puck, trying to make changes late in shifts, allows the Florida Panthers to quickly counter. Good look by Boys there. Backhand pass out to the high slot. And then Tom Gilbert joining the rush. Once again, head up the whole way to Barkov on the side of the net. Long reach, pokes it past Budaj. Nothing he can do about that. But 2 good passes. First from Boys in the backhand to Gilbert. Then head up down to Barkov at the side of the net. And the Panthers have the 2-goal lead.
So Barkov back-to-back goals here in the second. And the difference in the game, Gilbert and Boys draw the assists at 14:29. Here's Pacioretty holding it in. He'll get it to Georges, but can't control the puck. Sends it in behind the net. Gallagher will battle there. Brendan Gallagher trying to stir things up and does a nice job. It'll go to Desharnais, but the shot doesn't get through. Marcel Gotch for Florida. Over the line it goes. A pass for Kopecky, kicked out by Peter Budaj. And now Pacioretty ahead. Here comes Pacioretty onto the right side for Subban. He'll swing it to the net, and Clemenson will stop that with traffic in front. Long shot by Plekanec, deflects wide. Canadians need a push here with 4.5 minutes left in the second period. Down by 2. Got by Huberdeau trying to clear. Plekanec holds it in. And now Kopecky out at center ice. So that's 4 points for Florida defenseman in the game on that most recent assist for Gilbert, who has a pair of helpers. As the Panthers lead at 3-1. Plekanec battling. Here's Bourque trying to swing it across. Plekanec now sending it to the net wide. Rafael Diaz, a shot off the side of the net. Canadians with a push here. Trying to get one to get within one. And it's played past Bouillon and back inside the Canadians' line. Both teams make changes. Bouillon scampering through center along with Eller. Lars Eller fires. That one blocked by Big Petrovic. Barkov ahead, and here's a 2-on-1, and a pass is intercepted by Subban as Boyce and Bergenheim looked like they had something going.
Way more time than he thought he did. He could have just taken that, controlled it, had a clean 2-on-1.
Bergenheim causes the turnover. Barkov in front. Boyce again, stopped by Budaj. Got that one on, and Peter Budaj had the answer. Clutch stop there to keep it just a 2-goal deficit. And now Markov will flip it in. 18-12 now. The shots favor the home side, and they've been the better team in the second period. Stretch pass out at center for Galchenyuk. Couldn't control it. Back in. Matthias is upended, and it's going from bad to worst here. Another penalty against Montreal. Brendan Gallagher going off. Panthers with the lead in a power play when we return.
Brendan Gallagher goes to the box as he gets his stick caught up between the legs of Matthias there, and not moving his feet, reaching for the puck, chasing the game, and the Montreal Canadiens are down a man here for 2 minutes or less.
Florida Panthers 0 for 1 on the night, the 29th ranked power play in the league, up against the best roadkill in the National Hockey League. Here comes the shot, bouncing through. Barkov not out on the ice to start. Pair of goals in the game, his first 2-goal game in the NHL. Fleischmann sending it across. Knocked down by Kopecky. There's Huberdeau. Bjugstad goes to the front. Oh, come back to Fleischmann and bounced on him. And a penalty will come up as Fleischmann, who was in trouble, got a piece of Plekanec, and they're going to call interference.
Oh,
it's going to be another. It's Bjugstad, sorry.
He's driving Travis Moen on that rush, and he's going to get the interference call.
It might have been Fleischmann who looked like he slowed Plekanec up to prevent a breakaway, but it is a Florida penalty.
Right there. Oh, it's a goaltender interference. Oh, he lands right on Budaj's shoulders. You absolutely have to keep control of your body. Jumps up, jumps back a little bit. And Budaj, credit to Budaj for not selling that. Most goalies would have been down flopping all over the map, but he hangs in there. Good call by the referee.
So it's a couple of times tonight. The power play has been abbreviated. And back to 4-on-4 action for the second time in the game. Florida scored their first goal, 4-on-4. Brian Campbell in deep, Fan on the pass, and we'll cycle it back into the corner. Here is Barkov. Tracked by Markov. The veteran against the rookie. And now Markov out at center. Slows up, gets control. Now Subban. That Canadian defensive pair while Markov heads off. You were thinking maybe they'd be thinking offense here to try and generate something and get back within one. Kulikov trying to spin off Desharnais, and it's knocked back to center. 1 minute left, second period. Dmitry Kulikov in again. Marcel Gottsch. Watched by Pacioretty, who takes it away. Up for Plekanec, rolling it past Kulikov and out. Quick change for Montreal. Plekanec stays out, but he is now joined by Gionta. Francis Bouillon spins back. And Brian Gionta over the line, and going to call that offside.
And the offensive star of the night so far for Florida, Barkov, with a couple of goals. And look at him, support boys, backhand available, spins, opens up, stops at the top of the slot so that his stick is still available in beside Budaj. All things that he's not thinking about, he just feels. Get himself in the right offensive position for the tap in. And it's got the Panthers up by 2.
Oh, Rene Bourque with the high stick on Mike Weaver.
No, that's Weaver doing an acting job.
Oh, is it?
He might have got him with his glove, but you're gonna go in there pushing. You can't be snapping your head back like you get your head knocked off.
Let's have a look.
Get a little shove there. That's a glove. It's not Mike Tyson punching him. Good job of the referees, no call.
Weaver drops the stick. And Bourque gets in his ear. Couple dozen seconds remaining here in this second period. Canadians trying to put a better complexion on the game before they head to the dressing room. Subban back in his own zone. Lost the puck. Fleischmann takes a look, finds Campbell moving in. He's surrounded by Canadians. Subban gets the puck, and that's going to do it. The shots are 19-12 through 2 periods, 11-5 in the second. And Florida will take a 3-1 lead to the third as we head back to Rod Smith. Well, Rod, we talked about the Florida defense being offensive tonight. They even got a goal during the intermission as they've made a scoring change. Brian Campbell gets credit for what we thought was the first goal by Alexander Barkov.
Yeah, he was jumping up the play all night long, and he gets rewarded, I guess, for a goal that we thought was Barkov's as Campbell jumps up, throws a wrister, bounces up and over Budaj, and we thought that it was Barkov who pokes us in, but it's in fact Yemlin who banks it in off the back of Budaj's legs. Get a better look at it here. Barkov's coming in, he doesn't quite get it. Here comes Yemlin's stick, knocks it into Budaj's leg, spins it in off the post and over the goal line. Either way, the Panthers will take it, but that one goes to Campbell, taken away from Barkov. So Barkov just with one on the night, Campbell with one as well, and almost 20 minutes of action through 2 periods.
So 2 defensemen have scored for Florida, Kulikov and Campbell. Tom Gilbert has a pair of assists. Brad Boyes now has 2 assists in the game, and the kid, well, that's what happens when you're a rookie. You don't have the seniority to hold on to a goal like that.
5 years from now, he'll get credit for that one.
With all due respect to the greats like Wayne Gretzky, that goal probably goes to 99 if he had been on the ice, no?
I would think so. I think even up to about 10 years ago, they wouldn't take those things away, but now they review everything and make sure that the points are all added up and give it to whoever deserves them.
So 3-1 as we start the third, and Canadians took a little more time in the room. I can't imagine Michel Therrien was pleased with the second period in which we had the scoring chances at 9-1 in favor of Florida. Here's Kulikov to center. Up it goes to Bukestad, sidesteps a check into the middle, and hits Brad Boyes on the move again. Another shot for Boyes, and that's his 9th directed at the net in this game. 10 in the last game. Centers Barkov, a backhand stopped by Budaj.
They've been calling that guy's name a lot tonight. Brad Boyes had the puck on his stick, and he's putting a lot of shots in on net. He gets another one here, skating wide, trying to get Budaj to cheat here, go short side, and he just rings it up off the shoulder. And Brad Boyes, the streaky scorer, and you don't often give him this many chances without him finding the back of the net. 1 goal in his last 16 games. One of the most prolific shootout scorers in the NHL with 36 shootout goals. Slate saying all that, he still leads Florida in goals with 9 on the year.
Here's Bergenheim to the attack, sliding it through. Boyes in the corner. This line's been a handful for Montreal tonight. Barkov, Bergenheim, and Boyes. And here comes Gallagher. The Canadians' version of the booster cable. See if he can ignite something in the third. Diaz had his stick lifted, and the puck slides down the ice where Bouillon goes back to get it. Bouillon weaving his way through, now gets it to Gallagher. That shot is blocked by Kulikov and sent to center. Sean Mathias ahead. Kopetsky put it into the slot, gobbled up there by the Canadians, sent to the line, but Weaver holds it in. And now ricocheted out to center. Kulikov, quick lead up, and it's offside at the Montreal line.
And the Montreal Canadiens have been sluggish with their legs and sluggish with their minds as they have turned the puck over several times. Some bad decisions on where to put that puck, and Francis Bouillon puts it right up the middle. Weaver stands up, keeps it in the zone. He gets it back a second time and says, okay, you know what? Off the boards is probably a better option. This is one of those games where they happen throughout the year, back to back, where the Canadians right now just do not have their legs. They are late arriving on all the battles, all the loose pucks.
In Florida, that 5-game win streak, came home to start a homestand And this is the third game of the homestand, looking for their first victory. Subban behind the net, an outlet for Lars Eller. Rink wide it goes. Markov and Subban together, and now Subban heads to the bench on a change. Up ahead, and it got past Jimmy Hayes, and this is going to be icing against Florida. Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson star in the new dramatic series True Detective. It premieres January 12th at 9 Eastern, only on HBO Canada. Contact your TV provider to subscribe. The Canadians will play one more game in 2013, New Year's Eve in Carolina. January 2nd, the road trip ends in Dallas. And then home on the 4th against Ottawa. And the Florida Panthers will be back in Montreal on January the 6th.
Not bad when your longest road trip of the year is 6 games, but it's broken up by a week off for the Christmas break. The luxuries of playing in the Eastern Conference up in that Northeast.
Here's a pass ahead for Fleischmann. He had Bjugstad driving to the net. Huberdeau tied up by Diaz. Couldn't get control of the puck. Ryan Gianta down the left side. Plekanec pushing there with Huberdeau. Oh, that's interesting. The veteran and the youngster. And let's see if they drop him.
Took a long enough time to think about it. They were taking shots back and forth, and they're all tied up, but
31-year-old Plekanec, 20-year-old Huberdeau.
And it was all the way up the ice, the two of them. Plekanec trying to get in on the rush, Huberdeau trying to get in on the back check. And great look at it here. Jousting and jostling for position, and push and a shot, and another one. Back and forth they go. Huberdeau doesn't let it go.
It's that competitive streak that Gerard Gallant talked about.
And both guys are like that. That's why they're both good players.
And Brian Giante had to take over.
At some point, if you've been there for 15 seconds pushing and shoving, you're going to draw a crowd. Four-on-four hockey, though, always favors the team looking to generate offense, and that's Montreal right now. A little more open ice and maybe a chance to get something going, as they haven't had much since the first period.
So they call it unsportsmanlike conduct, or 2 minutes each for refusing to drop their gloves. Puck flipped up near the Florida bench, and play is stopped.
Francis Bouillon, longtime Montreal Canadian, and Michel Therrien says, I don't mind small guys as long as they play big. And that is exactly what Francis Bouillon is. Low center of gravity, and he likes to step up on guys and crafted a pretty nice little career for himself, predominantly with Montreal, but a few other teams along the way. He's a nice depth defenseman.
Desharnais and Pacioretty up front with PK Subban on the ice. Canadians need offense, but right now in a defensive posture. Desharnais takes it away and now feeds it ahead, and Pacioretty unable to take it at the line. The play was offside as the delay is called.
Pretty good read there by Tom Gilbert. He knew that he was in trouble with Pacioretty getting in behind him, but got his legs going, spun around, squared up the ice, and took the pass away, creating the offside. And Montreal's been doing a lot of that, though, stretching out the zone, and not enough tight puck support to make the short pass. And when you're given the 60, 70-foot passes, they rarely work. And Montreal's had trouble stringing it together.
Canadians 8-4 in the month of December. The Panthers looking for their 8th win of the month, which would tie a franchise record for most December wins. Here's Gotch breaking in. Marcel Gotch with a shot wide on a great rush off the right wing. Now Boys to work against Diaz. Changes gears, sends it back to the point. To be flipped in by Weaver. Gotch goes after it. Nearly came up with it, but Diaz recovered in time. But now Gotch takes over. Feeds the point. Kulikov takes the shot, and it's deflected by Boys into the corner. Gotch works the boards. Gets it to Boys, and a steal there, and the Canadians will take charge. Up for Eller, who overskates it. And now Subban back over the boards and swings away from Bjugstad. Up ahead for Gallagher. Chips and chases. Brendan Gallagher into the corner. Subban following up. Trying to make something happen here. He takes over and turns off Bjugstad. There's Gallagher in the corner. Working off Brian Campbell and Bjugstad. Subban behind the net. He'll come out in front. Tried to jam it. And Clemenson shut the door. Up with it is Pacioretty. Back in for Subban again. Canadians with a push. Subban in front. And he lost the handle just as he was about to shoot. Out of the box come the penalized players, Huberdeau and Plaquenitz, and looks like they want to go back at it. And Huberdeau lost his stick and just heads to the bench. That's how they ended up in the penalty box. Huberdeau without a stick.
I want to keep playing here.
Bouillon back for Diaz, and it hopped on him in retreat. 5:20 gone here in the third period. Canadians trying to cut into a 2-goal lead, but they can't get it out. Here's Boys again, right on. Well, that's 10 shots directed at the net. That one hit the target. And Budaj has the answer. Sent around to Boys again. A 2-assist night for Brad Boys, but he's trying to bump a goal-scoring slump. It's offside at the Montreal line, and prior to that, great dash by Marcel Gottsch.
Marcel Gottsch showing the wheels there, blowing right around Andre Markov. Really has developed into a pretty nice third-line center here, although he probably plays above that. But we talk about one team skating and one team not. A very pretty clear example of it right there as Gottsch blows by Markov. And said 4-on-4 hockey is good if you want to create offense. You get PK Subban out there, he'll hang in behind the net, set up shop in his office, and not really worry about hanging out on the blue line as he's trying to create a goal to get Montreal within one.
Here's Drew Shore on the ice. Recently called up to the point. Kulikov back along the boards, and it's gloved down and played by Prost. Chops it inside the Florida line and sent away by Clemenson again. Clemenson the starter when everybody was expecting Tim Thomas tonight to play in his 400th NHL game. Instead, Thomas out for the 9th consecutive game. But Scott Clemenson has had Montreal's number over the years. 7-1 career record for the long-time backup when playing against the Montreal Canadiens.
It's a pretty good hunch for a coach to play then. Clemenson, obviously, good memories, good vibes going up against the Canadiens.
Surprised he played that much in
New Jersey,
relieving Marty Brodeur, who always seemed to get the start against Montreal.
Exactly right. The odd time then Marty Brodeur was injured, and Peter Horachek's done a nice job. Stepped in as the interim head coach, and since he came in, if Florida goes on to win tonight's game, that would put them one game over 500 after 24 games, so 12-11-1, which is, all things considered, from where they were, pretty good. And getting to know his players, including which ones like to play against which teams, like Clemenson in Montreal, is all part of the job for the former longtime assistant with Nashville as he gets his first crack as a head coach in the NHL.
Won a Turner Cup in Orlando back in 2001. Mike Weaver, a defenseman on that team. And you saw a familiar face on the bench alongside Peter Horachek and of course, the former Montreal Canadian, Brian Skrudland. Can't believe this team struggles killing penalties. They've got Skrudland and John Madden as assistants. They should just get out on the ice and kill those penalties. Here's Subban, a shot. Traffic in front. Blues. Briere scores. And the Canadians are within one.
No, I think they just waved it off, I think. Frederic Lecuyer waving that one off for goal interference.
Well, the first one waved off in the opening period came well after a whistle. This is the second goal the Canadians thought they scored. And let's take a look at the overhead. And is it Galchenyuk with the contact on the goaltender that wipes out an apparent second goal?
goal waved off because of goalie interference from Alex Galchenyuk as he bumps into Clemenson, but it is actually Gotch who comes in from Galchenyuk, pushes him from behind on top of Clemenson right here. Look at the cross check as Galchenyuk is stopped up short, would not have touched Clemenson, and Briere dumps it in the empty net for a big goal for the Canadiens and for him. And the Panthers get away with one there because that absolutely should not have been waved off, and Michel Therrien spent the better part of the last 2 minutes almost on ice level saying that that is 2 goals now you've taken away from us in tonight's game, remembering the high stick from Gionta in the first, and then this one absolutely one that probably should not have been blown off.
Would have been Daniel Briere's first goal in the month of December. And again, here in Florida, the partisan Montreal crowd letting the officials hear it.
The key to watch here is Gotch, 57 in red. Galchenyuk standing up straight, not moving forward anymore, had stopped short of Clemenson. And it is Gotch who shoves him in, and that's the momentum that puts him into Clemenson that caused the goal to be waved off. He's not moving anymore. And you're gonna get a cross check in the back. Does his best to avoid Clemenson still, and it's still waved off.
From the face-off, Fleischmann takes it away and speeds down the ice with Huberdeau. Thomas Fleischmann to the middle and gets knocked off balance. On a dangerous rush, and now the Canadiens will counter with Gallagher. See if that's enough to just fire the Canadiens up. A big hit on Fleischmann. Still some time here. Dozen minutes to go. 3-1. Florida continues to lead. A loose puck, and it's chopped wide of the net by Pacioretty. Gallagher's on it. He'll send it to the point. Markov can't sift it through. It's off boys and out. Yemlin turns at center. Both teams make changes. And off the bench, that was nearly too many men. A dangerous pass in the midst of a change. Markov gets it ahead. I don't think they dare call that now.
No, it's anything that's questionable could favor Montreal for the rest of this game.
Now Barkov, not suggesting that was too many, but
no, that wasn't though. Gionta was coming off for somebody who'd already stepped on the bench, although the Panther bench was complaining about it.
Now it's Brian Gionta. Gets it ahead. Bourque will play it in, and another change now for the Canadiens as Lars Eller checks back in with Galchenyuk and Briere. The line that thought they had created the second Montreal goal. Lars Eller can't clear it out. Gloved down by Kopecky. He'll swing it along the boards. Eller knocked it down but lost his footing. Kopecky on it again. At the point, Weaver. And that one looked like it flipped off Budaj and surprised him. Like Weaver again. Send it to the Montreal line. Here come the Canadiens. It's Eller into the middle. Diaz in front and a poke check away from Clemenson. Bouillon steps up. Kopecky knocked it by him. And it's out at center ice for Eller. Fresh troops over the boards. Subban started out, now has to go back to the bench. Not time yet for him, but it is for Prust. Brendan Prust over the line. Here's Ryan White in deep. White will circle back, and that pass is deflected and sent out to center. Chris Birch hit by Subban on one of his patented hits. Here's a good hit in front of Mike Johnson on Travis Moen as Birch stepped into him. And now Jimmy Hayes knocks down Subban. It'll be played to the point. Flipped towards the net, knocked down en route by Georges. And the Canadiens are out. Trying to spring Prust. It's picked off by White. Inside the line, Prust tried to center. It was knocked down. Pacioretty goes after it. He knocks down a Florida Panther, comes up with a puck. Pacioretty, here's Yemlin, a shot, and a stop there by Clemenson, and a penalty now. And this is going against Florida, and you just sensed the next penalty was going to be against the Florida Panthers. Petrovic heads off. Montreal on the power play when we return.
Alex Petrovic into the box for holding as he's got a stick grab of Brandon Pruss stick right there. Pruss actually turns and looks to Kevin Pollock, says, look, he's got my stick in his hand. And Kevin Pollock makes the call. I see it right there. He's got a stick in his right hand. Pruss says, what's going on here? Pollock makes the call, and Petrovic goes to the penalty box, complaining somehow, I'm not exactly sure what about, as the Canadians go to a power play.
Canadians had scored in their power play goals in their first 11 road games, have not scored in their last 7 road games. Desharnais on the ice, Gallagher's in front of the net. Pacioretty fired it off the boards, and back it comes to the point. Markov and Subban are the point men for the Canadians, trying to get that second goal. Cross for Desharnais. Pacioretty in behind the net. Desharnais surrounded. Kept in at the line by Montreal. Subban. And now it's deeper for Pacioretty into that far corner for Gallagher. Kopetsky and Gotch. The penalty kill tandem to start for Florida. Weak pass cut off. And it'll be Gotch buying a little more time before he slaps it down the ice. Now Matthias out as the Panthers change their penalty killers. And Sean Matthias has checked in along with Drew Shore. Gallagher a little chip, and here goes Briere. Briere to the line and the playoff side, despite the best efforts of Plekanec to stay on side.
And you talked about the struggling Panther penalty kill, and they just need to turn around and say, what are we supposed to do, coach? And a couple of the very best. John Madden, longtime expert penalty killer, defensive forward, New Jersey, Montreal, or Minnesota, Florida. One of the very best short-handed threats as well, and he could certainly work with the forwards anytime he wants as to routes to take and places to be. And the other one, Brian Skrudland, who of course played for Montreal, one of the best defensive forwards of his era as well. And they must be thinking, guys, it's not that hard. We made it look easy for our careers.
Canadians 0 for their last 15 on the power play on the road. Knocked down by Gionta. Here's the captain. Back for Diaz. Matthias tracked him. It'll be sent off Clemenson, and it ricochets back to Gionta. He tried to play it in the corner. Dylan Olsen got there first and sends it down the ice. Peter Budaj is out and moves the puck quickly. Away goes Bouillon, scampering through center. And then got crossed up with Gionta and left it in the corner. And it's an easy clear for Weaver. A little miscommunication there.
And that's a struggling power play, not on the same page. Bouillon, good rush, trying to drop it off to Gionta, who had already stopped up.
Power play done as Subban moves ahead. Back on the ice is Petrovic. In behind the net, Gionta. Pass is denied. He'll get it back again. Feeds the point. Georges across, and the stick snaps on Subban. It's been one of those nights. Back to Georges. Subban's got a new stick. He gets back to the left point. Up high is Pacioretty. He'll send it down low. Here in behind the net, Georges tried to stuff it. And Brian Campbell sticks with him. Georges kicks it loose. Gionta sends it around. There's Pacioretty covering for Georges. Josh Georges again, a shot, and that one off the glove, centered, and at the side of the net, Gionta chopping at it, and here we go. Sticks get high, and Gionta gets knocked down.
Good shift in the offensive zone for Montreal as Josh Georges got creative going down low, and he almost sends one in here. Desharnais tips it just wide, and then it's Gionta and Weaver get tangled up afterwards, but desperate times here as Montreal needs two. So you see guys like Subban, like Georges, Markov start jumping in behind the net, roaming around the offensive zone, trying to help break down the coverage of the Panthers.
Six and a half minutes to go here in the third. Florida Panthers, there's another broken stick. This one's snapping on Diaz. And
that stick had to be broke before he got out there.
Yeah,
that's just a wrister off a dead play.
And look at the chance that Barkov gets off it. And a shot right on Budaj. Bouillon gets organized. Subban taking a double shift here in the third period as the Canadians look for offense. The shot 7-5 Montreal in the third, 23-19 Florida in the game. Panthers have only won 14 times this year, but with the lead at any time in the third period, they have been perfect, winning all 10. And in a one-goal game 2 weeks ago, as here's a hot shot, and Budaj covers up on that shot by Fleischmann. Lost the mask, but holds on to the puck. Down to 5.5 minutes remaining here in the third. The performer of the game is brought to you by GMC Sierra.
And it's going to be Brian Campbell, another solid night in his own end. Efficient defensively, not playing too much time there. Good with the passes, and of course joining the rush as he always does, including getting this goal here, the third one for the Florida Panthers. And it's just been another typical night for him. 26 minutes almost, and so he might just get to 30 still with almost 6 left.
And he's now even on the year. He was minus 22 a year ago.
If you could be even on one of the worst teams in the league, as Florida has been this year, then you're doing something right, especially when you're playing 28 minutes a night.
Good night for the product of Strathroy, Ontario, the former Ottawa 67. Here's Brendan Gallagher into the Florida zone. Canadians found themselves down by 1 against Florida 2 weeks ago and did not register a shot in the final 5:27 of that game. See if they've got a better push tonight. And now Kulikov gets upended, and there'll be a penalty there. And Pacioretty frustrated by that. He'll play the puck. And now the Canadians shorthanded.
And Pacioretty will be going off for tripping. He's got some words for Kulikov as Kulikov heads to the bench.
Montreal, 2 minutes tripping.
As Kulikov steps into a puck that's floating through the air, walks out, and as he's trying to get his legs moving to get himself out of the pile, he steps on the blade of Max Pacioretty, and that's what causes the demonstrative fall and the tripping penalty.
So the Panthers power play goes to work.
At this point, they're happy just to get 2 minutes off the clock and play this one down to the last 2.5 minutes left.
Brian Campbell's on the ice to quarterback this power play. 29th this year after being a top 10 power play last season. Side of the net, Brad Boyes is parked in front. And now Barkov moves in, loose for Plekanec, and he'll move out. The Canadians go to the attack, shorthanded. It's Plekanec trying to cut in. Unable to get a good shot away against Campbell, who will now speed the other way. Brian Campbell leads the rush, and unable to hold up was Barkov. He was a half step ahead of the play. Well, one of the reasons these two teams are separated in the standings is because of special teams. Michel Therrien's team, one of the best. You combine the percentage of power play and penalty killing, Montreal third best in the league. And the Florida Panthers are last, and last by a considerable margin. So that's the biggest area that Peter Horacek's team needs to improve. That's the old Scotty Bowman equation. Got to be over 100%.
Over 100 is good, 105 is excellent, and anything over 105, you're at top of the charts.
So 84.4 is
no, puts you dead last.
And I believe by about 5 percentage points.
And power play, sometimes you need more personnel to be effective, but penalty kill, you should never be at 73%, regardless. It's the NHL, you have smart players, guys willing to block shots. You should be better than that. And that should just come down to coaching and some experience.
40 seconds remain in the Pacioretty penalty. Huberdeau dancing through center. Jonathan Huberdeau working around Diaz and then shot it wide. Back the other way, Gionta Down the ice with Plekanec, again working against Campbell. Gionta from the corner, back to Georges, he winds and fires right on. Josh Georges the puck again. Across for Diaz to the net, that hit Gilbert in front, and Campbell there to pick up the loose puck and get it out of harm's way. Tom Gilbert, a pair of assists in the game. Drops for Bergenheim. Brad Boyes after it against Georges. Penalty over, Pacioretty back on the ice, and the Canadians just over 2.5 minutes left. No shots on that power play for Florida. Gionta over the line. Swings wide, tries to center, and Pacioretty down in front. Gionta looks like he's out of gas there as Gotch will take over. There is Briere coming back to take the puck. He'll center, Subban shot, and that's blocked. Subban along the boards. Puck flipped up over the glass and out of play with 2:05 to go. Well, the NHL on TSN continues New Year's Eve with the Buffalo Sabres in Winnipeg to meet the Jets. Live coverage gets underway at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN.
Here's the guys talk about it before the game, how tough it is to go back-to-back in Florida and get 2 wins, and Montreal just hasn't been able to find the energy needed to play tonight with Florida, who has outskated them and outbattled them. The 3-1 lead.
And they get a late spark. Subban off that draw. Shot it wide. Or took Markov with Subban heading deep into the zone looking for the loose puck. And back goes Markov. It's an icing call and 1:53 to go. They'll try and win another draw and see if they can get a shot through.
Peter Budaj taking a look over the bench, getting some instruction, and here he comes because under 2, you need 2. Nothing to save it for him. Budaj is on the bench, 6 on 5. And now it's the Panther bench trying to let all their guys know. Goalie's out. Be aware. Changes your defensive zone coverage, less aggressive with the wingers up top.
Desharnais against Gotch. Canadians prevail on the draw. Get it to the corner for Eller. He'll swing it behind the net. Gallagher tried to move it around. The referee was there, and you heard a little frustration from Gallagher there as he couldn't get the puck through. Weaver a chance to clear again. It's off Pacioretty and into the Florida bench. 89 seconds left on the clock.
Tough night for the Montreal Canadiens. There's nothing going right. As Horachek's got his team defending this lead well, and even with the puck in the neutral zone, Michel Therrien not putting Budaj back in there. He wants this one back to Markov, either straight across to Gionta or a rim around.
They get the draw. Subban will rim it around. Brian Campbell on the backhand shovels it out. PK off the glass, inside the line, and right back out to him again. Subban, Markov, Plekanec, Briere, Gionta, Pacioretty. That one nearly picked off by Boyes, but in they come. Pacioretty fires! Clemenson got a piece of that, and it was in the skates of Plekanec at the side of the net. Galchenyuk knocked down. It'll come out to the line, and Markov unable to reach it there. Shot back in by Plekanec. Kept in by Subban. On the backhand deep. Briere buffeted there, but Gionta in front with shot. Big stop by Clemenson off Galchenyuk on the doorstep. Well, they get a look there, and now down to 24 seconds to go. Subban knocked down. Puck is moved out to center. Bergenheim on the backhand. He'll score and has goals in 3 straight. Sean Bergenheim will ice it for Florida.
Bergenheim close to the game out with the empty netter, but it was the save here by Clemenson on Galchenyuk. Right in front, bang bang play. And Clemenson makes the save, and shortly thereafter, good play on the wall here. The step to the middle, Campbell, who else, patience and poise, gets to Bergenheim, who backhands it length of the ice into the empty netter to build off his 2 goals he had against Detroit last night. as he's getting hot.
8th of the year. Bergenheim from Campbell. Another point for Brian Campbell on the night. 4-1. The Florida Panthers will snap a 3-game losing streak. And the Canadians, who won in Nashville and in Tampa on either side of Christmas, will have their win streak come to an end. We'll have one more face-off with 1.8 left on the clock.
Travis Moen not going down quietly. He hammered Hayes in front of me, and at this point, I think the referees want to drop this puck and get the game over with. And for the Canadians, continue on their road trip on to Carolina. Gotta put this one behind them and find some energy to play on New Year's Eve.
Well, it was a partisan Montreal crowd, but the Florida music folks have the Montreal playlist, and they will celebrate the 4-1 win as the Rats will fly down onto the ice here as the Panthers snap a losing streak with another win against Montreal. Canadians have one more game in 2013. It'll be New Year's Eve in Carolina. They lose tonight in Florida, 4-1 to the Panthers as we rejoin Rod Smith.